I've owned this infrared sauna for over 1400 days now, and in that time I've used it almost every single day. So in this video we're going to go into all the benefits that I've got over using this sauna for that period of time. You're going to be able to see if an infrared sauna is as good or if not better than a traditional sauna in terms of benefits. And make sure you stay tuned to the end where I talk about that absolute best benefit that I received from using this sauna for all that period of time. Before we start this video, I just want to say that I purchased this sauna completely myself using my own money. This video is not sponsored and these are my own opinions. With that out of the way, let's jump right into the video. It's a really good weight loss aid. Now, it isn't going to burn thousands of calories like you see from some of the marketing talk, and it isn't a crazy kind of weight loss pill that you're going to be able to do and lose loads of calories, but it definitely does help aid weight loss. And at least for me, I've burnt quite a few calories. Now, there is a way to magnify this. I've found if you exercise before the sauna, get ready, get a bit sweaty, whether that's rebounding, using a vibration plate, doing jumping jacks, just that kind of stuff. Get your heart rate up, jump in there, and then for some reason, at least this is what my Fitbit says, when I play like pumped up music and I move while I'm in the sauna, as I say, not insane amounts, just a tiny bit of movement, my heart rate spikes and I burn a lot more calories, and it kind of really counts as a good heavy cardio session. So that's just kind of one of the things to know. But even at a baseline, this thing obviously increases your heart rate and your body is burning a lot of energy trying to keep yourself from cool and from overheating. So just them things on their own are absolutely great. Even without adding that tip, you can still lose weight using this device. It improves circulation, which is not really one of them things you're going to feel on a day-to-day, but it's definitely going to help you over the long term. And it is one of the reasons why a lot of these benefits on this list happen. It's pretty simple why it happens. Heat dilates your blood vessels, which then increases the blood flow and allows them to get to your tissues, your skin and your muscles with a bit more ease. Obviously, your blood is the system that's used to transport oxygen and nutrition to your whole body, so you want to kind of make sure that system's working well, and this is just an optimization on top of that. You can also pair it with oxygen therapies like EWAT to supercharge this process and to basically kind of put multiples on all the benefits on this list, because it definitely does help grow all of the benefits. It's an absolute game changer for de-stressing and relaxation. Now, I'm somebody who really does suffer with stress. I struggle to get out of the mood of stress. My work's quite stressful. I sometimes bring it with me and I kind of take it everywhere I go. And this thing allows me to just kind of melt that away. Now, there is a whole science to that, but the best way to describe it is it feels like I'm going to a spa. And I'm genuinely over 4 years in of ownership and it still feels that way now. I think it's something to do with the wood and the way it smells. The fact that I can put on different mood lighting that kind of like matches how I'm feeling. And I can just put music on. I can go for a kind of spa relaxing feel, or I can go for kind of a heavy rock feel where I just want to shut out the world and just kind of decompress. The heat also does scientifically push you into a parasympathetic state, just like cold plunges and doing other extreme activities, and that is why it does just kind of melt you down and allow you to reset and allow you to kind of shift your mindset to a more clear one. Are amazing for immune support and to stop you getting ill regularly. Now, this is my own personal experience, but if I'm ever traveling or in a place with a lot of people, or I come into contact with someone who's quite ill, I will come back and I will use this sauna for 3 to 4 days. And I'm not really sure why it happens. I've got a kind of a theory on it, but it either reduces massively the time I'm ill or it completely stops me getting ill in general. And a lot of people have had them same benefits where they say if you do some sort of heat therapy, you get sick a lot less often. Now, as a caveat to that, I wouldn't get in this thing if you've got a fever. You should never get in any type of heat therapy if you've got a fever. It can be a really, really bad time. Don't do it. But if I've got like kind of a little scratch or I feel like a cold coming on, I definitely jump in this thing and I use it for a few days. I'm not trying to hurt myself. I'm not trying to go too intense, but it definitely does either reduce the time I'm ill or stop me getting ill completely in and of itself, which is a complete game changer for me. And it's one of the things that I would recommend to people who are maybe work in hospitals or travel a lot on airplanes. If you're an air hostess, like you're coming into contact with so many people, it can be quite hard to keep yourself at a good level and keep yourself healthy. This is one of the great tools for that. There is a few others, but as I say, this is definitely a heavy hitter with that. Now, another absolutely top tier benefit that I've got from that is the muscle recovery and the reduced soreness. Now, as I've said before, it improves blood flow, which is an absolutely magical thing because it gets all the oxygen, it gets all the nutrition to where it needs to go. And if you pair that with working out, it really does reduce the time that is needed between heavy sessions. Now, with cardio, I've not noticed it as much. I think it's maybe a little bit harder to calculate, but with heavy weightlifting, it doesn't really matter if it's training my legs, training my upper body. It has been an absolute game changer on 1, reducing the DOMS and the soreness, but on 2, just allowing me to recover quicker between sessions. So obviously, as a benefit of the muscle recovery and the reduced soreness is that I train more, and this has allowed my muscles to grow. Now, it also, according to studies, it does massively increase human growth hormones, like really significantly, but it is temporary. it. And I will say that my personal benefits with muscle growth and using this sauna have been pretty significant. I will say that the times I'm using it, especially when I'm training hard and I'm jumping in the sauna right after, I do notice a good change in my body and the way it looks and the way it feels and how I'm able to push myself. But I will also say that if I stop using the sauna and I train very, very heavily, some of them results do decrease. So it is one of them things that will give you results, but if you don't keep up with it, it will take some of them back. But I'm pretty happy with that because I'd rather have the results in the first place. Now, an absolutely other awesome benefit to using sauna, and it's one of them ones that I don't see many people talk about, is the fact that I feel that muscle atrophy happens a lot slower. So for me, I've trained like 16, 17 plus years of my life very hardly, and sometimes I do take breaks in that time to kind of recover or because I just don't have the motivation. And since I've been using this, if I take them breaks and I still sauna, my loss of muscle and muscle atrophy is significantly less. I would say that if normally I started feeling atrophy within the first maybe like 3 to 4 weeks, for this it happens months in advance, and sometimes I don't even feel it at all. So if you're somebody who likes to really train hard and then wants to maintain a lot of the benefits from training without having to push themselves as hard, this is an absolute game changer. And I'm sure that there is a lot of science. I'm sure it's something to do with blood flow and circulation, but this is something that I've experienced and it is one of the main big benefits that I absolutely love about it. Detoxification. Now, there's a lot of information on the detoxing effects of these saunas online, and a lot of people actually recommend infrared saunas over traditional saunas because you sweat at a lot lower temperature. And I will say this, as somebody who has tried many traditional saunas and this infrared sauna, the sweat level you produce in here is unlike anything I've done, and that's with hot baths, jacuzzis. Like you sweat more in these than anything. And I will say that when you're in a traditional, obviously a lot of it's water vapor that makes you feel like you're sweating more. As this thing, it doesn't even make sense how much you sweat. And even though most of the detoxing is done by your kidneys and liver, if not all of it, obviously having sweat and sweating a lot does help get certain things out of you, or at least that's the notion that a lot of people say. Now, there isn't enough case studies, there isn't enough science on this, but from my own personal experience, I would agree. And I think if you do suffer with heavy metals or you do suffer with mold toxicity, I do think pairing something like this, maybe even with a binder, is something that will help. Now, this is something that I don't see many people talk about, but it's an awesome benefit of saunaing. Heat adaptation. Your body gets better at adapting to hot or cold temperatures, and it gets quicker at doing it. And this is an absolute game changer for athletes that train in different countries and might go from a cold environment to a hot environment, or do a lot of training in the winter and then have to go out and train in the summer and have that kind of horrible transition where your body's not used to it. This allows you to simulate that. And just like working out your body, the more you do heat adaptation, the hotter you go and the colder you go, the more your body gets better at reacting to them temperatures and keeping yourself cool or keeping yourself hot and not causing you to kind of have the negative side effects. Now, this can actually be detrimental because obviously if you go to a super hot country and you're not used to it, you could collapse, you can have like many different things that can happen. And if you've already practiced heat adapting, this can give you that little bit of an advantage where if you did go in a really hot environment, your body's not going to just shut down. It's kind of going to go, oh, this is the same as being in the sauna. Cool down, do these things, keep yourself chilled, stop you overacting, etc. Now, another awesome benefit is sleep. If you struggle with your sleep, if you get in here about maybe 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed, and you heat yourself up nice and hot, when you get out, your body basically goes into kind of like a bit of a panic mode and is trying to cool you off. And that cooling effect will completely knock you out and relax you. Now, some people can do this a few hours before bed, some people an hour. You have to kind of feel out where the best results happen. I wouldn't do it right before bed because then you can have the opposite problem where your body's too hot and hasn't cooled down yet, so it can kind of prevent you from sleeping. But for me personally, anywhere that's about 2 hours north of going to sleep, this thing will put you to sleep and will help you get a deeper, more restorative sleep in general. Now, to caveat on some of the other benefits on this list, this does help with joint health and mobility. As I say, if you're somebody who can't walk, you're very not mobile, this might allow you to maybe lose a bit of weight, but realistically it's going to allow you to heat your joints up, which is going to aid in them recovering and maybe allow you to do a bit more activity. It's the main reason why a lot of older people move to hotter climates. It's a lot easier on your joints, it's a lot easier on your bones, and even if you're just warming up in a cold environment, it can really be detrimental to that kind of feeling of like being able to actually use and kind of oil yourself up where you go, I can actually move around a little bit better and feel a bit better. Now, this one might just be for me, but mood and general feeling and well-being is so improved by this. And I would have to say that that comes from living in a place that is ridiculously dark and cold in the winter. If you're somebody who lives in a place similar to that, then being able to get in here and seek that refuge is a game changer. And I genuinely mean this. The best way I would summarize a traditional sauna versus an infrared is infrared saunas feel like sun heat. So you can be in here and it's 40, 50 degrees, and that is like so much hotter than if it was 40 degrees or 50 degrees in a traditional traditional sauna, because this heat feels like you're actually in the sun. And being in the sun, or being able to kind of simulate being in the sun with some spa music when it's like -10 outside or -5 and you're just sitting there in that warmth, is an absolute game changer. And as I say, you can get in here, you can read your book in there if you're okay with it getting sweaty. You can just switch out the rest of the world, and that to me makes me happy. It makes me feel like I've got a bit of a refuge on them days where like it's pitch black at 3 o'clock, you know. I feel like, oh, you know, I can actually go somewhere and actually feel something good, as opposed to like being like, oh, it's miserable and I'm cold, and you know the drill. Now, the big and final and probably the best thing about using a sauna or getting any kind of heat therapy is the all-cause mortality. And you've probably already heard this. Sauna use lowers all-cause mortality. It lowers the chance of a cardiovascular risk. It lowers the chances of strokes. And it has so many benefits on your overall well-being, especially when you do it over a long period of time. It is the best real thing about this thing, and it is one of the reasons why so many people scream and say you do it. Now, I will say as a caveat, if you don't have the money to buy an infrared sauna or a traditional sauna, then sauna tents are perfectly acceptable. That's what I literally recommended my dad get, an infrared sauna tent. It's a lot cheaper. It's good to get a sweat in. As long as you're sweating, that's all that matters. You can also use your bath and have a hot bath. Hot showers, there's limited kind of data on them, so I'm not too sure, but I do know there is data on having a really hot bath. Obviously not too hot to hurt yourself, but don't get too hung up on trying to get the perfect infrared sauna or the perfect sauna experience. Realistically, get what you can afford, and whatever you get, make sure you use it, and you're going to be way ahead of most people anyway, just doing them things. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Now, I have got something absolutely awesome coming in the future. I'm going to show you the exact ways my body changed using this without any days off, and you're going to be able to see all them kind of benefits and exactly what happened to my body throughout that time. So if you like that, then please subscribe. I also do loads of other biohacking videos, and obviously this is one of my first videos, but I've got many reviews, many tests that I've been doing over the years all releasing, and I'm super excited for it. So please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.